medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free online visit. forhims.com/joy.
Listen, you can't handle the truth.
It's about to go off.
Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now at 615-844-5600.
Alrighty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Wednesday afternoon to you. And yes, it is time for the McFarland Show. Darren and Justin here on this rainy Wednesday. Speaking of rain, we were at First Horizon Park yesterday.
Yes.
And the rain evidently was there because it wasn't raining where I was the rest of the night.
No.
But apparently it was raining at the park because they canceled the game.
Sorry about that. You know, apologies to my guy Bailey over there at the Sounds because I accidentally said the word rain to him there in the ballpark.
Oh.
And I've forgotten that I'm not supposed to say the R word there at the ballpark. And I did say it, and I apologize to Bailey. And he says, well, we're going to hope for positive, good vibes here. And it didn't happen.
Yeah. And
so
he probably
I'm sorry.
hasn't forgotten.
I'm sorry, Bailey. I really am. You were a great guy and a great host. We appreciate you guys and the Sounds. But it might. I was just trying to warn you, and I didn't mean to use the actual R word.
Yeah. We had a no-hitter going, and you were that guy.
You know.
In the seventh inning.
Just cash, not even thinking about it. Just said it. Just said it. It's like, oh, that's right.
We still had fun over there, but it's unfortunate that Lipscomb and Vanderbilt were not able to play their baseball game yesterday. It was interesting, speaking of baseball. I found myself last night after the Predators just annihilated the Sabres in Buffalo. By the way, Buffalo, how about that for a 2 games at home back-to-back? Giving up 14 goals.
Giving up the touchdown in 2 straight games.
Yikes. But good for the Preds with a nice 7-3 victory. They'll come home tomorrow to take on the Kraken from Seattle. But I found myself, after that, watching the WBC.
There you go.
And I got to be honest, it was exciting.
They are into it. With the final game, like what we saw last night, it was fun to see the intensity on both sides.
Yeah.
Down the stretch of that game. And then the ending
was amazing.
Is something out of a movie.
Yeah. Amazing. Ohtani.
Yeah.
Versus Trout.
Yeah.
2 teammates that we'll see in the regular season facing against each other, trying to give, Trout's trying to win it for USA and Ohtani's trying to win it for Japan.
Do you know how well they know each other? Because I don't.
I mean, they're teammates. I don't know.
But a lot of people work in the same building. I mean, I just wonder. I
don't know.
Okay, I just wonder.
I know this. Ohtani is a freak.
Man.
He is a freak of nature.
That was a nasty pitch that he struck. First of all, it's Mike Trout.
Trout.
Let's not act like it's just some guy. This is Mike Trout. All right? This is a MVP, okay? And that pitch he threw him had nasty movement on it. And then he can hit a 400-yard bomb, too, a 400-foot bomb. And then he could turn around and throw nasty off-speed stuff like that at 87 miles per hour. That's rough stuff.
Yeah, it was nasty. But what a game. Unfortunately, Japan gets a 3-2 victory. But, man, did you see the numbers? People were watching.
Watching the Watching that? I haven't checked our numbers. No, I don't know. I haven't looked at the number. Okay.
Well, I think all of Japan was watching if you see the numbers. And apparently there was a lot of interest here because it's a very popular item last night.
Yeah.
on television.
I imagine, especially on the West Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
Seattle and Portland and all parts of California.
Yep.
Yeah.
Southern California especially.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. But it's met with a mixed bag, right? Because we've already talked about it. A lot of expectations for the New York Mets. They paid their closer top dollar. And Edwin Diaz goes out there and jumps up and down, and he's done for the season. And then you had Altuve get banged up. You guys get hurt.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, why would you play in this? You owe it to your club, not this. Who cares about this? Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. I know that the players want to be there.
Yes.
I know it
clearly
looked like everybody was out to win and having fun.
Into it. Yes.
The crowd, the players. I mean, it was
dialed in.
Yeah, they were dialed in. This was not, these ridiculous all-star games that we have in professional sports now.
No. This wasn't even spring training. This it had a playoff type of bite to it. I'm going to stop short of World Series, but it had a playoff field. I would give it, NLALCS type of mood to it. It would rival anything that you see, at one of those, big time baseball games. Electric.
On a scale of 1 to 10 on how hard they were playing, it was a 10.
Yeah.
It was a 10.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that. No, it was high.
If you watch the game, at least that was my opinion on it. Everybody wanted to win. They were out to win it. There's no doubt about it. So pretty cool, man.
Very cool.
And I wouldn't sit here. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watched a ton. I didn't. But last night I did. I mean, the minute the Preds game was done, and boy, it was really done for a good while.
Yeah, it was over.
It was very clear that the Preds were going to be the better team.
Yeah, Buffalo just wasn't interested
last
tonight.
night. Yeah, no, Buffalo really wasn't into it. But I wanted to still see it through, and when I did, man, I was over there, and it was that or NIT, and I'm like, Vandy's tonight.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of Oregon, Wisconsin, believe it or not. I watched the finish to that.
Yeah.
Because it was a tight game.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I was all into the World Baseball Classic. Pretty cool.
I saw something very obscure. I saw the Discount Tires Challenge that had, I want to say it was Eastern Kentucky taking on Southern Utah in a game that was a thriller of a game. But it's one of these alternate, I want to say it's probably Division II maybe, college basketball type of championships that was on the Stadium channel. If you're familiar with Stadium, It was on Stadium last night.
Is this the CBI?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Because Nate tweeted at me, actually tweeted at both of us.
Look it up, make sure here. But go ahead.
Yesterday, and I forgot to read it on there, that he wanted to let me know that Tarleton State had gone to overtime in their CBI game.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Nate. We appreciate it.
I was appreciative of Nate's update.
Appreciate that, man.
On the Texans basketball team.
Didn't really know otherwise. So thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, it was the Eastern Kentucky Colonels taking on the Southern Utah Thunderbirds at the Ocean Center. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure what tournament it was here, but yes, it was probably that. Anyway, ended in a great game. Final score was like 106 to 108. Just a great game.
And you were watching that?
I was.
Wow.
I got caught up into it. Yeah,
wow.
It is the CBI, the College Basketball Invitational.
Okay.
So there we are.
All right.
It caught me. It caught me at a good moment, and I was like, "What is this?" And so caught me at a good time.
Okay. All right, tonight it is NIT action at Memorial Gym. Whiteout. Vanderbilt hosting UAB. Andy Kennedy and the Blazers in town.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I looked this morning, UAB was a slight favorite. How about that?
Let me check on that, but okay.
So we'll come back. We'll talk to Kevin Ingram. He'll be on the call tonight. We'll find out what he thinks. Can Vanderbilt punch their ticket and head to Vegas? Because this is the first year. The NIT is not at Madison Square Garden.
No.
They are not at MSG. I know.
It's weird.
It's always been, right?
As far as
MSG,
I know.
I don't ever remember being anywhere other than MSG.
It could have been somewhere else, but as far as I know.
But this year it's in Vegas. So we'll talk to Kevin on the other side. We'll do that next here on the McFarland Show, Nashville Sports Radio.
Fun is in full bloom, Tennessee, and the Multiplier Instant Games are buzzing in. These colorful tickets offer chances to multiply your wins 10, 20, 50, and even 100 times. It's a beautiful day for bigger and bigger prizes, and they're ripe for the picking right now. Find the Multiplier Instant Games today at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer, only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
This responsible gaming message is brought to you by the Tennessee Lottery. When you play the lottery, it's important to play responsibly. Know your limit and spend only what you can afford. Set a budget and stick to it. And remember, as long as you're having fun, you're always a winner in our book. The Tennessee Lottery is a proud supporter of National Problem Gambling Awareness Month. To learn more about problem gambling resources, visit tnlottery.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Bundling car and renter's insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? Look for the signs. Chances are they live in a home and have a car. They use money and enjoy having more of it. They probably drink lots of lemonade. Lemonade. And they've probably said something suspicious like, "I'm bundling with Geico," or "Stop spying on me with those binoculars." If so, you may want to ask them how easy it was to bundle with Geico. Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
Golfers, tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Titleist. Check out the new Pro V1 golf balls, designed for longer distance, more consistency, and unrivaled control. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and elevate your game with the new TSR Woods, engineered faster, longer, and straighter. Come in and get custom fit for free today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, unmatched service, unmatched expertise.
Grizz Nation. Make some big Memphis noise and don't miss Jaron, Desmond, and your Grizzlies Friday at 7 as they battle the Rockets for Grizzlies Scholars Night, presented by Ford and your Mid-South Ford dealers. Get hyped, get ready for a star-studded show, and secure your tickets by calling 901-888-HOOP or online at Grizzlies.com. From Middle Tennessee's home for the Memphis Grizzlies, Nashville Sports Radio.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Every weekday afternoon, 2 to 4, live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. It's the McFarland Show. It's Darren. It's Justin. It's 50 years of Nashville Sports Radio coverage.
A show that's genuine, it's real, it's fun, it's passionate.
We welcome your phone calls, and we mean it.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio, WNSR.
The McFarland Show, streaming live on the WNSR app and on WNSR.com.
Vanderbilt back at Memorial Gym tonight. Trying to head to Vegas, baby. Trying to punch their ticket to Vegas. But they'll have to get past UAB, Andy Kennedy, and the Blazers. Good team. This guy will be on the call. By the way, he had quite the Saturday.
Did he?
Doing Vanderbilt, Michigan, and then Vandy, Ole Miss.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that was a long walk to get to that game.
He did both games?
I believe so. Let's bring in Kevin Ingram. Is that true, Kevin?
That is 100% true. I did the Vanderbilt-Michigan game at 11 o'clock. We were done with the comeback from 8 down to win and did all our post game. And then, yes, I made the very long walk down the concourse to the press box at Hawkins Field and got there in time to do about the last 6 innings of the Vanderbilt-Ole Miss baseball game. So it worked out great.
Well, what is your tea regiment like? I need the recipe, Kev. Like, what is your beverage of choice there to keep everything, nice and loose?
My beverage of choice is actually Diet Mountain Dew. Anybody who knows me knows that that's what I do.
So
no
that's
pun intended,
the secret.
but
Okay.
I guess that and some water. I don't drink a lot of hot beverages. I'll have some coffee every now and then. But it worked out fine.
Wow.
As far as like being tired or anything like that, I was so wound up from the basketball game. I actually had to kind of just sit for about a half inning and just wind down enough to settle in and do baseball, and it worked out well. Andrew Harris, who usually works with me on the baseball games, and Red Wiseman, he came in and helped us out on the TV side, and so those two did the first few innings together, and then it was 2-0 Ole Miss, and I showed up for the fourth inning, and as soon as I came on the air, starting the bottom half of the fourth, Vanderbilt started scoring runs, so it worked out even better that way. I ended up getting 2 wins and a sweep for the baseball team.
And I'm sure you've let everybody know about that, right? That the tide turns whenever you got there.
All I do is win. All I do is win.
No matter what.
No matter what.
We were playing in our first baseball tournament this past week, and boy, it was lovely weather for that. Outdoors. And
it was
I was
about 32 degrees at first pitch.
Well, we played half the games in the daylight and half the games at night. And the games at night were in the 20s. The games in the daylight were in the 30s. This is 11-year-olds. Not fun.
It was a tough weekend.
Not fun.
The day game on Saturday wasn't too bad. It was probably in the upper 40s, I would say. The night game on Friday, I did that game too. It was a little chilly out there on Friday night when Hunter Owen was out there retiring 23 straight. I was looking at the people in the stands, and they had jackets and hats and blankets and everything else. And, that was if you're out there hanging in for all 9 innings of that one. Luckily, it wasn't a super long game, but it was some cold. We've had some cold weather these last couple of weeks.
Well, I was mad that our games. We had the last 2 games of the Saturday action, so I was mad that we didn't play our first game until 5:30. But I was happy because it allowed me to watch this game, and I could see why you were skipping over to the Hawk because, man, was that game a thriller or what? By the way, Who's played longer, Hunter Dickerson at Michigan or Juwan Howard in the NBA? What career was longer?
Yeah, I think it's pretty close. Juwan, he played about 20 years or so in the NBA.
Close to it.
Like
yeah,
he played a long time. And it was cool seeing him, and thinking about those Fab 5 days of that Michigan team and, those days in the 90s when they made the back-to-back championship games. But, Hunter Dickinson has played a long time, and it felt like he was going to be playing a little bit longer the way the second half started out. He was dealing. I mean, they were just throwing it to him, and Vanderbilt really had trouble guarding him. He was hitting jump hooks from everywhere and getting in close and scoring. And it was funny, in the first half, they used him a lot as a facilitator and, setting a high screen or making a pass. Then in the second half, he just went to work and scored a whole bunch of points, and Michigan ended up with a double-figure lead. But down the stretch, Vanderbilt switched Jordan Wright on him, and he did a really good job. I mean, that's a tough assignment for a guy. Hunter Dickinson's a 7-footer, and Jordan's probably about 6'5", 6'6", and that's a tough assignment. But he did a good job of keeping him from, just scoring at will like he was maybe earlier in the half. And Vanderbilt did a good job on him with Jordan, and the comeback. I know we'll talk about that, but it was just remarkable inside that last minute.
It certainly was. By the way, if they ever do like a documentary on Nashville sports radio, one day, and the history of it in this market, somebody that will be involved in that will be Kenny the mailman, because he is, one of those callers.
Oh, yeah.
And he called in and passed along this message. He wanted you to talk about your emotional sign-off.
My emotional sign-off?
I don't know. That's what Devlin wrote up there. So I don't know what he's talking about. I guess there was an emotional sign-off. I don't know. I did not take the call from
Were you
Kenny.
emotional as you were signing off, Kev?
Maybe it was just when time. He was probably talking about like as time ran out on the game, because we were pretty fired up. I will say that. Like, hey, after the big comeback and Vanderbilt scored 9 points in 46 seconds, got to stop at the end. Tim and I were stoked, man. It was exciting stuff. That's probably what he's talking about. And Kenny, if you're listening, man, great to hear from you. He's been a caller on pretty much every show around here. And you're right, if there ever was a documentary, Kenny would have to sit for an interview. But it was fun at the end. We were so excited for that win. But with about a minute to go, it certainly wasn't expected. But everybody hung in there and nobody left, and Vanderbilt got the turnovers it needed to make it happen.
Kevin Ingram on the line with us. So, Kev, you've had a front row seat to this whole run that Vandy's been on, this wave that they've been riding ever since that loss to Alabama in Tuscaloosa. What is it? I mean, they've lost their best player, along the way, in Liam Robbins. Studi, who's been there all year and, has been out on the floor and had huge contributions. And I know he struggled down the stretch with his shooting, but a guy that's been a part of this ride, he disappears after the SEC tournament and says, peace out. He's no longer a part of the equation. And yet this team, doesn't matter who they play or what they just keep winning. How are they doing this?
I think a lot of it's good defense. I really do. And that's something Jerry Stackhouse talks about, how everything really starts with the Vanderbilt defense. Everybody will see Tyron Lawrence scoring 25 against Yale and 24 more against Michigan, and a great string of games he's had. I think it's 9 straight double-figure games for Ty. He's been terrific down the stretch. And Ezra Magnon, to me, has been maybe the key guy of all. When you have a point guard that has the assist-to-turnover numbers that he does, it's going to really serve you well. It always feels like good teams start with good point guards, and he's been fantastic. But, yeah, I think just good defense and guys who are just tough. I mean, these guys are tough. They hang in there. It doesn't matter what the situation is. They're going to play hard for all 40 minutes all the way to the end. We even saw that in the Texas A&M game. Vanderbilt got way behind in that game in the SEC tournament and battled back to really make it interesting and have a chance to trim it down to single figures and have a chance to make it even closer than that. But that game against Michigan is, case in point, down 8 with a minute left, and you're thinking it looks bleak, and these guys they just know how to as Jerry Stackhouse says, work the game. And the remarkable part of that comeback against Michigan is they never put the Wolverines at the free throw line. You almost never see a comeback like that.
Right.
Where you don't have to play the foul game and put them at the line and hope for a miss. They never shot a free throw that whole time. Vanderbilt just played great defense. They brought the press, which Vanderbilt doesn't press a whole ton, but the press really affected Michigan. They turned it over 3 straight times, and Vanderbilt turned it into those points.
That is amazing, really, when you think about it. The atmosphere in the gym, too. The three of us, we've been accustomed to, we know what it's been like going back to the day, and the Memorial Magic, and when that gym, especially big games, was always packed to the rafters. Are they starting to get that feel back? I mean, it looked good on television. Obviously, I wasn't there. It looked good on TV. I know down the stretch it sounded good. Your call, it sounds good. But you're there. Is this another thing you think Jerry Stackhouse is doing alongside of winning and having this team playing the way that maybe the fans are coming back and maybe they can create the atmospheres they've had in the past?
Yeah, I think that's definitely been a big part of it, Darren. I mean, you look at this stretch where Vanderbilt has not lost a home game in that string of 14 games. Vanderbilt's won 12 out of 14 and won all the home games. And all of them, not all of them, but most of them have been just crazy old finishes. The one against Michigan, you think back to Mississippi State was close. Auburn was a photo finish with Ezra Magnon with the late bucket right before the buzzer. Of course, the Tennessee game with Tyron hitting the 3 out of the corner to win that game. But it does feel like the fans have given these players a lift. And even talking to the guys, I talked to Ezra earlier today and talked to Tyron before the game against Michigan. They said, yeah, absolutely, we feel that. And it feels like that the home court advantage is swung in this team's favor. There were quite a few Michigan fans in there the other day, but I thought for an 11 o'clock game that wasn't on the schedule until just a few days prior because of just the nature of playing in that tournament, to have that many people out there and have them be that loud. There was over 8,000 was the announced attendance. It felt like there was more than that, but to have that many people there and really bring the noise when the team needed it and give them a lift there at the end, it's created a great home court atmosphere.
What has this run done for the program? Not just for, the Magic at Memorial, but also just the profile of the program that's getting a lot of attention that, really hasn't gotten this much attention in a little while.
Yeah, Justin, I think it's done a lot. And I think last year's NIT run did a lot as well. Vanderbilt made it to this point last year, had a chance to win and go to the semifinals, and went up and played at Xavier and lost by a bucket. And it felt like that was a big step forward for the program in the bigger picture of what they've been trying to build with Jerry Stackhouse. And, of course, it was a big disappointment to not get into the NCAA tournament with the way Vanderbilt played down the stretch. But I always think these things in the NIT can go one way or another. Some teams you'll see they don't want to be there and they're out pretty quickly, and some teams embrace it and want to keep their season going and win some postseason games, and that's what Vanderbilt's been able to do here. But I think certainly you would rather be in the NCAA tournament and going to the Sweet 16 and getting the publicity and props for your program that go with that. But I think as you keep on playing in a tournament like the NIT has been around for a long time, and these games are on national TV on ESPN, can do nothing but help you. So I think in the bigger picture, this run and this postseason run have to be huge positives for this program.
So let's move on to in a few hours. What do you know about UAB that everybody else is about to find out?
Well, I know they score a lot of points. They average 81 per game, and they get a lot of rebounds. They average over 40 rebounds per game. They're the second best in the country in that department. And they're a team that was, right at the top in Conference USA, losing to FAU in the conference tournament. They had a great season. They've won 27 games. Andy Kennedy played there back in the late 80s, early 90s. I'm actually old enough to remember seeing him play for UAB back when he had hair. But this team, they really have some weapons. I mean, they have a lot of guys who transferred from other places, including 2 or 3 guys who came from the SEC. But the guy you want to watch is Jelly Walker, who averages 22 per game. He's one of the leading scorers in the country. Just one of those high-scoring guards. I think that matchup with him and Ezra Magnon is going to be fun to watch tonight. But they're a really talented crew, and they got 5 players who scored over 1,300 points for their career. So they've got a lot of guys who've seen a lot of different things in their career. So I think this will be a really interesting matchup at Memorial.
Have you got it in your mind yet that the NIT is not in New York and is going to be? I mean, I know that we're still a game away. I understand. We don't want to put the cart before the horse. I understand. But you're not going to Madison Square Garden here, Kevin. This next one after this, we hope, will be in Las Vegas. How weird is that?
It really is interesting, but you think about this tournament, and for over 80 years they played the semifinals and championship at Madison Square Garden. Jeez. And moving it out to Las Vegas, and they had said after last season that would be the last time for a while that it would be in New York. Of course, they're having the NCAA regionals in New York this weekend, the Sweet 16. But it is a little weird. But at the same time, it's a little fun to think about, too. I mean, a trip to Vegas isn't all bad. So, we'll take that. If Vanderbilt can win one more here and head on out to Vegas. I really do wish that could have had a chance to go experience that at Madison Square Garden. That's one place I have not been to do a game, and I'd love to have that experience, but maybe another time. And, I'd like to see this team win and head out to the desert next week.
Orleans Arena. Which one? I mean, there's some – you've been
true.
out there. I mean, they got they're not lacking arenas in Vegas. So which one is that? I don't know. It's not where the Golden Knights play. So which one is it?
It's not UNLV either.
Yeah.
That's the one where I believe they have the West Coast Conference tournament there.
Okay.
At least they have for a lot of years. They've had a lot of basketball events in that building. I was looking at it, just reading up on it a little bit. It's connected to a casino, of course, and it's just it's just to the west of like where the Strip is. I believe it's on the other side, over on the other side of the interstate. Like T-Mobile Arena and some of that's a little closer to the Strip, and MGM has an arena. Yeah, like you said, the Garden Grand Arena. There are a lot of different places, but the Orleans Arena, it's a little bit west of where the main part of the Strip is.
They got ballrooms out there that you can play this game in. I mean, honestly, you can just lay down the court right on top of the carpet there.
Yeah.
That's been done before.
In the ball, I bet it has.
Kev, you know what? They should listen to you on, for baseball games and not us, because our luck is just the opposite. Yesterday we did the show at First Horizon Park. That tells you the impact we have on Vanderbilt baseball. They didn't even play the game.
Got rained out. Yeah, it was pretty nasty out there last night, and I was kind of following the game and noticed they pulled the plug on it pretty early, and it just didn't look like a night conducive to playing baseball, especially on a grass and dirt field. That's a nice thing about Hawkins Field.
Yep.
With the field being all turf, as long as it's not thunder and lightning, if you have just some light rain, you can play through it a little better than you can if you're playing on grass. But that was a shame, because it's a really neat series, that all for lose showdown that they did the last couple weeks. Vanderbilt played Belmont over there last week and was playing Lipscomb last night to benefit ALS research.
Kevin, appreciate the visit. Enjoy the game tonight, man. I hope it's another. I suspect it's going to be another crazy and wild and finish, because I think these two teams match up well, and probably is going to come down to the last minute or so of the game. I hope, at least should be a lot of fun. So thanks for doing this.
Anytime. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. 6 o'clock at Memorial, and we'll have pregame at 5:30 on the Vanderbilt Sports Network. So, if you can't make it out, come hang with us, and it should be a lot of fun.
All right, that is Kevin Ingram. Good stuff. Vanderbilt and UAB, and then the winner of I think it's Cincinnati and Utah Valley. I don't know.
Where's
anything.
Utah Valley? Other than Utah, yes.
Utah Valley.
I don't know.
Never heard of that team.
Maybe they've were something else before they were called Utah Valley.
But Cincinnati's playing Utah Valley.
Because, the Utah Valley Wolverines is what they are.
So if you're looking to watch the Vandy game tonight, it is on ESPN2 tonight. So, in fact, both games are on ESPN2.
Orem, Utah, wherever that is.
Sure. Yeah, if you say so.
Sure.
Probably in a valley.
Says you're right here.
In Utah.
Probably.
Would be my guess.
They have mountains there, too, so valleys make sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're pretty smart here on the McFarland Show.
Yeah.
We'll come back. We're wide open the rest of the hour. We can talk to you at 615-844-5600. More of the McFarland Show on this Wednesday next.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
The other workers' comp insurance company, they were going to reclassify our business, and then they were going to charge me $50,000.
Meet Natalie, owner of the carpentry shop. Shocked by an unexpected bill, she knew it was time to switch her workers' comp provider. That's when she found Pi Insurance.
When we got the quote back from Pi, it was a sigh of relief. They put us in a policy where we fit.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at iwantpi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
I'm grateful that there's a company out there that's willing to insure us little guys because every dollar counts.
With Pi Insurance, you get pricing and coverage made for small businesses. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote in 3 minutes at iwantpi.com. That's iwantpie.com.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
Or,
yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
Or it may be even subtler, like,
speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
In uncertain times, you can be certain of this. The Salvation Army is serving those most in need with help and hope. Thanks to your donations, the Salvation Army is helping those affected by COVID-19, those who've lost wages, who have no home to retreat to, who need food, help with utilities, and most of all, hope. To see how you can continue to make a difference, visit GiveWestwood.org. GiveWestwood.org.
What's your next dream? Paying off your credit card, remodeling your kitchen, exploring the rainforests of Costa Rica? Whatever your dreams, they take some planning. And State Farm agent Austin Hardy is right here in the Middle Tennessee community to lend a hand. As your local good neighbor, he can help you look at the things you want to save for and come up with a plan to make those saving goals happen. Because your money should work just as hard as you to achieve your dreams. So whether it's being free of debt or free to roam the world, call State Farm agent Austin Hardy here in the Middle Tennessee community. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Tennessee. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association and the Tennessee Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
I'm not saying like Derrick Henry's going to be bad. I just don't think he's going to be able to tote the rock 330 times in a season. He did lose a half step. He was getting caught in that second level. And you saw the fumbling. If that's what their plan is, we're just going to go in again on Derrick Henry and figure this out. It just seems like the definition of insanity to me.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Thank you, Big Boy Sky. Back here rolling along. Taking your phone calls, 615-844-5600. Good stuff from Kevin Ingram, Vanderbilt, and UAB. Andy Kennedy and the Blazers in the house at Memorial Gym tonight at 6 o'clock. Let's go to Tony. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Y'all touched on the World Classic. That was a tremendous viewing, like you say, by a lot of people last night. But, guys, that just does not get I just don't think it gets the attention here in America as it does. I think with the timing of the NIT being played, hockey still reaching its playoff point this season. The NBA, you've got the NCAA going on. I just think the timing for baseball as far as that particular World Classic, I just think it just don't get the attention that a lot of people think it deserves. But y'all agree with that?
No, not really. I think it actually got, considering what it was. I mean, look, the numbers were through the roof for television purposes. I mean, the viewing
in America.
I haven't seen the.
I don't think they were in the United States.
Well, I haven't seen the breakdown. I just know. I think I saw 60 million people, and I get it. It's a world event.
40 of them probably in Japan.
Probably. I mean, I get it, but I mean, you're asking, what are you looking for? I mean, they're watching this way more than they are spring. You watching spring training games? No,
absolutely not.
Right.
I'll tell you what I ended up watching. I'll come through on the ACC channel and caught up with Florida and Florida State. And I ended up watching that game. It was a heck of a game. Florida ended up winning it in the eighth inning, put the game away, winning it 9-5. And each year, those two teams play each other in a head-to-head, home and a home. They do it each year, and it's always a heck of a game. And you're talking about a sellout. That place was at Florida State last night, Tallahassee, was teetotally packed, shoulder to shoulder. And now how many were watching that? Who knows? But I know that I watched that. But, I mean, I'm not downplaying the World Classic. I just don't think the interest here. It's been talked about earlier on the Pope show early in the morning, and a lot of people. I just think the timing of it doesn't draw the attention. I think it's good to watch it. I'm a baseball fan, y'all know that, but I just think the attention of it. And
I guess not to just belabor this, but I don't know what you're looking like. All the networks, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was showing highlights. Like SportsCenter would lead with World Baseball Classic highlights. I mean, Again, Tony, I'm not trying to pick a fight with this. I don't know what you're looking for this. I mean, again, no one's talking about spring training. Nobody's watching that stuff. You go to it in person, but SportsCenter's leading with WBC. I mean, if you go on the MLB channel, Fox, they're all talking about it.
I'll give you that completely. But it just seems to me that it just doesn't I just know everywhere I go, no one's talking about it. I'll just say that they're talking more Titans and everything, more local stuff. But in the SEC play, let's talk about the SEC a little bit. This past weekend, Darren, you had 5. This was really crazy. 5 sweeps in the SEC. Did y'all know that this past weekend?
5 sweeps?
In baseball? You mean 5 baseball
sweeps? There was 5 sweeps in the SEC this weekend.
Yeah, well, obviously 2 in this state.
4 of them were in the Eastern Division.
Yep.
You had Florida. You had
Vanderbilt. You had Tennessee getting swept by Missouri. Yep.
Right. And in the Western Division, you had Arkansas. And all 5 sweeps took place at home. It's really crazy. It was really crazy. It's really going to be an interesting SEC season with as many teams, and it is every year, but I've never seen on an opening weekend 5 sweeps. That's crazy. I mean, Kentucky swept Mississippi State,
Yep.
Just cleaned their clock. and then of course what we did to Ole Miss. So it's just I thought that was rather interesting. And last but not least, I've talked to some friends of mine down in Alabama on this Saban situation and the shot across the bow. There's people down there now saying E.F. Saban. Remember the old commercial when E.F. Hutton talks, everybody listens?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they're calling it E.F. Saban, and there has been a cartoon to come out that showed this huge elephant, and on its tusk was a big notation saying, when Saban speaks, all Bama fans listen. And that, I mean, it's this thing, just that one statement is just really starting to, it's got a lot of people down in Alabama and everywhere else saying, was it a shot or wasn't a shot? Not a shot. So it's pretty interesting to see how that's going to play out. Nate Oates, I'm not sure if he's even addressed it or said anything reference to it. Of course, they're trying to get ready to win a title. He did come out and say earlier this year, I don't know if y'all saw this back in, I think, January, where Saban came to a basketball game. And he said, I hope he got to see us play and perform, but it always seems he doesn't get out much due to the fact, he said, he's always either got to sign autographs or be taking pictures. So I'm not really sure how much of our game he got to see. That was a little note that Nate Oates come out with, and that was back a couple of months ago. So you just don't know where all these things are going, but it's really interesting to see what it is. Anchor down tonight. It's going to be an interesting battle, especially with Kennedy. We know he's a good coach, and we know he'll have his team prepared. You think he's going to have some memories, Darren, of the last time they come here?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
I think so. See you guys.
All right, Tony.
Take care.
Thank you. All right. Bill Keane, by the way, will join us to begin the second hour. So we're obviously going to talk about what Nick Saban said and that whole situation that's going on with their football team. So we will absolutely ask Bill that for sure. That's coming up at 3:00. Let's go to Doug. Doug, you're up next. Welcome in.
Good afternoon, guys, on this rainy evening. I just got a little bit of a question for the Lamar Jackson situation. You know, we see as it's transpiring, it doesn't look like it's going to be a win either way, but this is the question, I guess, that I'm asking. Is Lamar Jackson a victim of the league owners saying that we are not going to ever pay that kind of Deshaun Watson money ever to a quarterback again? Or is he a victim, since we're talking about old quotes, the old statement, he who represents himself has a fool for a client? Are we on that path?
Well, Doug, you're bringing the heat today because this is an interesting topic.
But I've got several thoughts.
Yeah,
on
I do
this.
too.
Yeah.
It goes back and forth, but I mean, I think it's to the point of no return now that
I do too. I'm with you,
it's
Doug.
late in the game. You know, I wouldn't take the case because it's not a win unless you just want to get a percentage of whatever it is he's going to get. So will he just be better off by saying, whatever y'all give me, I don't have to give a cut to an agent and, you know, I'll just take my licks? Or do you try to go out there and just say, you know, can you at least think about giving me that Deshaun Watson money? And as quiet as it was kept, these owners are saying not just no, but heck no.
Let me pose this, Doug, to you and Justin, okay? And I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad we're going down this road because
now remember,
I
I'm
want
not
to
that
talk about it.
intelligent, so slow it down. Slow it down.
No,
Make it
stop
plain.
it. Stop it.
Doug.
Stop it. You're slow playing us. Stop it. I've really thought about this, and I think it's an interesting topic, and you guys may push back and disagree with me. I think that players who choose to go down this path are making huge, and I mean gigantic mistakes. And hear me out. Okay? Do I understand somebody wanting to ultimately keep all of their money that's theirs? Of course.
Yeah.
Of course I understand that.
Yep.
100%. Don't we all want to do that? Here are
without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
But here's the deal. If I was in Lamar Jackson or anybody's shoes in this instance, I'm about to sign the biggest contract that I'll ever sign in my entire life.
The second contract.
This is the biggest contract that he, in this case, I am ever going to sign in my lifetime. Do I want to save money and keep it all myself and to do it myself or have a family member or whatever, someone who's not licensed by the NFLPA, negotiator field calls, or do I just want to bite the bullet and have a pro do it and have to give them, the 3% of the biggest contract I'm ever going to sign in my life? While it pains me and I understand why the athletes don't want to do it, my answer is ultimately I'm going to pay the professional to negotiate the biggest contract of my life. That's what I'm going to do because it's in the best interest of myself and my family to have a professional do it. Because here's what goes wrong. I'm going to give you an example that just happened. Orlando Brown. Devlin, have you ever heard of him? Yeah, he plays for your Bengals now. Do you remember who he played for last year?
Orlando Brown?
Yeah.
I can't recall who he played
Chiefs,
for.
didn't he?
He just won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Do you know what the Chiefs offered him? He was, by the way, doing the deal on his own. Do you know what the Chiefs offered him?
No.
$21 million.
For?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what they were offering him annually. He turned them down. Do you know what he signed with the Bengals?
A lot more than $21 million?
No.
No?
$16 million a year.
Is that right? Well,
yeah. You know why? Because he got out there after he was like the Chiefs, gave him the chin move, with his hand.
Yeah.
And then got out there and realized, oh, that deal wasn't so bad after all. But I can't.
The water's deep
right,
out there.
Exactly.
Fellas. Once you get out of that water, you can't come back.
I can't come back. And so, I guess Cincinnati, I guess I'll take that 16 mil per year.
Well, let's use the John Stockton theory. He negotiated for his contract. Again, it was a good personal relationship with the ownership. He negotiated it himself. He wasn't greedy, and it worked out. But to me, it matters to what tier you are. If you're a top tier, then you need a professional guy to guide you. If you're more like a second level, you can maybe negotiate compared to someone else. Is that fair to say?
I think I think where you're going, because there's not as many layers, right? The lesser player, There's not as many layers.
Exactly. But when you're top tier, and for whatever it's worth, Deshaun Watson has made it where it's just a mess. No one will ever be close.
No.
Money bag.
Don't blame Deshaun Watson. Blame the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, that too. I said, but so the guy who holds the money
offered,
bag,
they offered him
happen.
the money. He signed the contract, but he didn't do it himself.
So, but do you think this is probably going to be the Lamar Jackson theory, where good luck, fella, we'll see you when you come back in here and sign this?
I mean,
I think this is the other part. The reason you have an agent, I know because I've gone down this road. Okay, I've had attorneys, I guess, acting as agents on my behalf. And what happens is we all have heard the stories, right? Right? They're going to say things about you don't want to hear, and they're trying to get the best deal, and your agent is going to, or attorney is going to fight for you and counter with all the other stuff to get you the most money, right? It's how negotiations
but the
work.
attorney's fighting because he's fighting for his money as well.
Of course he is, or she, whoever it is. But what happens is you don't need to hear that stuff. And in the past, I didn't need to hear what they were saying about me because you know what?
Well,
I probably would have gotten emotional too.
At that point.
Yeah,
that's my problem. Is that once you hear that, it taints the waters.
Of course,
so if
it
by chance you don't jump ship, you still got a certain feeling that you have against the person that you stayed with.
Nobody really wants to hear that stuff, right? Ultimately, you don't. I mean, some have more thicker skin than others, but ultimately people don't want to hear that stuff about themselves, right? So have somebody else.
And I agree with you. I unfortunately listened through the wall one time and heard the conversations. I had to play stupid. I didn't like it, but I heard it. So that I lived that negotiating part. And I had to sit there and listen.
It's not fun, is it?
It's ugly. It's ugly.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's ugly. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Doug. I just don't think he can come back from this. That's what it feels like. It just feels like they've gone too far.
Yeah,
like too many feelings are hurt, and I don't know. And maybe he's now realizing, oh well, maybe this offer wasn't so bad. Nobody else is jumping in here.
Yeah.
Nobody else is jumping in the deep end.
That is true.
But then you're trying to save face, right? And go, oh, well, I basically thumbed my nose at you guys and thought there were going to be better offers. And now do I want to come crawling back? Kind of like Orlando Brown. Do I want to crawl back? Or do I try to save face and just say, the heck with it, I'm just going to sign somewhere else?
I've got a very different take on some of this, and we can get to it when we get back here.
Right,
we're up against it.
We'll do that, and we'll get Kenny's call in, too, before we wrap up hour number 1 of the McFarland Show.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Tennessee needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-785-9132.
When you're away from home and you want down-home cooking, Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel is the answer. Excellent, fresh, and local, just like Grandma used to make. Start your day with a Music City omelet and some prime rib hash, or a cast iron waffle with Nashville hot chicken. For those wanting variety, hit the biggest breakfast buffet in Music City. And of course, the world-famous Biscuit Bar. Start your day with the fresh, local, and down-home cooking of Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
This is the Greg Vogue and John Burton Show.
These are on True TV.
If you have Xfinity, just say True TV into your remote. It'll pop right up.
I tell my TV to do things, and it does.
Yeah, well, the things you ask your TV to do, I mean, you know.
Well, ever since I can't get Skinamax anymore.
Greg Vogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Welcome back to the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin. Give them a call at 615-844-5600.
The Jets have sent wide receiver Elijah Moore to Cleveland and the Browns. They'll get a second and third round pick. In return, the Titans, Austin Hooper, no more. He's in Las Vegas. He's now a member of the Raiders. Remember, the Raiders lost Darren Waller to the Giants, so Austin Hooper will be with the Raiders next year. Let's go to Kenny the mailman. Kenny, what's up?
Fellas, thank y'all for it. I know it was a little unusual earlier. Y'all asked Kevin a question for me, and he got it 90% of what I wanted. I always try to root for good things to happen to good people, and Kevin is the nicest guy you're ever going to meet.
Oh, yeah.
I've never met him in person, but I'll take your word for it.
He's nice. I listened to all the wrap-up of the show, and at the wrap-up, he said, I've enjoyed the commercial times because I've gotten dozens of texts from friends talking about how much they enjoyed the game, and even my mama sent me a text, and it meant a lot for me for her to hear it. And it was like, when you hear something like that, it's beyond sports. You don't ever really think. But he's from Kentucky, so he loves basketball, able to earn a living calling basketball, and your family's able to join in and celebrate with you. And I just thought that was a super, super neat moment.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't hear that, so I didn't know what you were
I know,
referring
and
to.
he probably didn't even think anybody even picked that up. Is at the end tailing out.
Yep.
But Justin, be careful because Kevin's been known to call. He does some of the best impressions in this city.
Oh, I
That's
know.
No lie.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I talked to him 5 minutes one time, and I thought it was George Plaster. They really pulled one
he's
on
got a
me.
good. He's got a good one there. But
Yeah.
I'm very aware of his skills on the microphone.
Yeah, he's good, and you know what? Y'all are on my good side too. So y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Kenny.
We're on Kenny's good side.
We want to stay there.
Listen. That's
All right.
a good place to be. I like being on Kenny's good side.
In all seriousness, if you have an issue with Kevin, it's not a him problem. It's a you problem.
Probably a you thing.
It's a you problem.
Probably.
He's one of the nicest dudes you'll meet.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
I'm going to take a little credit for starting to pull out his impressions back when we were working together at WTN in 2001.
What do you mean pulled them out?
I was doing a Saturday show, and I used to invite him on and have him come on as people. And then we did a night show, and we used to get him on. And one time he called in as Vin Scully, did the whole interview as Vin Scully.
Not bad.
And people didn't know.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It's amazing.
He could do that. I could see that.
Oh, he pulled it off. Fantastic. All right, we'll come back. Second hour begins with Bill Keane. We'll do that next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Em Nguyen. The Federal Reserve raising interest rates by 0.25% today. That puts the benchmark federal funds rate between 4 3/4 and 5%. It's the 9th hike since March of last year. A suspect at large after shooting 2 faculty members at a Denver high school who are said to be in serious condition. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock.
Paramedics were in the building when the shooting occurred, and they were able to immediately begin to administer support and treatment to the individuals who were wounded, and that, I think, will play a huge role in their ultimate recovery.
A student was searched when police say he pulled the gun. The weapon has not been recovered. In New York, the grand jury that's looking into President Trump's role in hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels is off today. The grand jurors were told to be prepared to reconvene tomorrow, when it's possible they will hear from at least one additional witness. This is ABC News.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to iwantpie.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote at iwantpie.com. That's iwantpie.com.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland.
When was the last time you did something fun with family, friends, coworkers, and clients? What if I told you about a place under one roof that offers affordable entertainment for all ages? That's what you'll find at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers in Donaldson, Hermitage, Tusculum, Hendersonville, and Murfreesboro with bowling, games, food, drink, and entertainment for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. All locations are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Visit online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling. Sports fans, in case you missed any part of the McFarland Show, log on to WNSR.com for all the McFarland Show replays and archives.
Hour number 2, take 2, action. Welcome in. By the way, you can watch us every day, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Darren and Justin here with you. And as you just heard, we are in the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio.
Yes, we are.
Cousin Devlin is alongside. Let's bring in Bill Keene. You can hear him on these airwaves starting at 6 in the morning tomorrow until 9. Bill, how we doing?
Hey, guys. What's up?
Does Tony Mitchell run as fast as he drives or no?
Runs about a 4.5.
Okay.
So slightly less.
Yeah,
Slightly.
a little bit.
He
It's
doesn't,
not
what
quite.
What they get him, 140? He doesn't do that.
141 to be exact.
141, yeah.
Yeah, to be exact.
Yeah. Right.
What was he driving again to go on 141? Is he in an open wheel car?
That's a good question. I don't now. Now Jalen Carter was driving some 700 horsepower Jeep. I do know that, but I don't know it.
I want to know, what are the upper reaches of the radar gun used if they clocked him at 741? Like, what's top speed? Does it just change to Mach at some point and not use
Does it just flash
actual numbers?
Too fast.
Does it just stop and say warp 1?
I've only been that fast at 30,000 feet, so I couldn't tell you.
I mean, that to me that was the interesting part.
The only challenge is a Dodge Challenger. The only Challenger I ever knew was a rocket ship. So maybe this is the version.
Some of those Challengers, if you get them with the right engines in them, they can do that.
Well, clearly this one's got the right engine.
Yeah. Now
141.
You spent a lot of gas doing it, but yeah, you can get there.
So we want to obviously talk to you about this, Bill. What does this mean? Let's just start there, and then we'll get to the different layers of the story. What is Tony Mitchell in the big picture for Alabama football this upcoming year? What is he supposed to be?
Speaking of the word, I'm not trying to play with words, a challenger for a starting position in their secondary, because other than Kool-Aid and McKinstry, they're not very good back there. Matter of fact, they're not very good on the defensive front either, the interior defensive front. But that kid's a DB, 4 or 5 star, depending on the service, out of a powerhouse, which is Thompson, Alabama. And I would say that's iffy at best right now.
Well, he was certainly it wasn't just speeding. He was caught with all kinds of goodies, or should I say bad stuff. Ultimately, how do you think that's going to play out?
Well, he was down in Florida, and they asked him if he had his pharmacy card, which he's from Alabama. They don't play that in Alabama, as we know. So I don't know, from a legal point of view, I don't know, because they caught him with a bunch of marijuana. They caught him with scales to sell, caught him with $7,000, $7,400. That looks pretty ugly to me.
Yeah. What was it, 8 ounces? And if he had over almost $8,000 and 8 ounces, that means what did you start out with?
Wow. Yeah. Don't know, but I don't think, and let's face it, look, Nick's done a lot of good things. He's not known as the most staunch disciplinarian. I think in this case, I think he's done the right thing. He's suspended indefinitely. He can't be there for any meetings or practice or anything. That's good until this thing gets adjudicated, and who knows when that happens.
My hunch, my gut feeling is, Bill, he's not going to start in the spring game. You know, that's my gut feeling today.
I don't think he'll be there watching it either.
Yeah, I think little Nicky's gonna bring the hammer down, and he's gonna have to sit out the spring game.
Would think so. And again, not that the on the field is important, but they need a lot of newcomers to help. Alabama, by their standards, had no dudes on the interior defensive line. The secondary doesn't worry people. You could see that from the Texas game on. That secondary did not bother people. Linebacker play was average. Obviously, you got Will Anderson and the Dallas kid, so they're good. They were good there, but by their standards, they didn't have many dudes at all this last year on defense.
Now, the other layer to this is a lot of people are buzzing about little Nicky's comments about he doesn't believe in being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and a lot of people have connected that dot and saying that he was shooting that shot right at the basketball coach there on his campus. What did you make of what Saban said?
Had to be. I mean, that's a very famous quote. That was an unfortunate quote by Nate Oates. And I thought it was the opposite of, it was kind of I don't know if that's a Stoops Scalapari thing, but it was kind of a shot there, right? Little shot there. We don't handle things or make excuses like that here. Now, I'll say this. The best thing that could happen to Nick, at least before that incident there, was the basketball team playing well because it is spring practice, and he would prefer to have no media. All the attention on that basketball team and the historic things they may accomplish is exactly what he would want. He would love it if no reporter was even anywhere around while he's trying to coach them this spring.
That is correct.
So I don't think he's anti-basketball at all, but it was a subtle little shot there.
He has always responded to not, when they have the, again, air quotes, down year by their standards, right? Not winning at all, not getting to the playoffs. It's a down year. But they always respond the next year. But kind of like listening to you, I mean, do you think this is a team that's going to be capable? I mean, are they going to be responding like most Nick Saban teams whenever they have the, again, air quotes, down year?
Not as overwhelming. They've got to break in a new quarterback. It's either Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson's from Jackson, Tennessee. His dad's the head coach at UT Martin, very highly recruited. Milroe's a fantastic athlete who's a bit one-dimensional, as we saw this year when he had to play when Bryce Young was injured. They didn't have dudes at wide receiver last year either, by their incredible standards. No dudes at wide receiver. That's got to redevelop. So the sure thing about them recapturing their market share, which is right at the top, is not a sure thing. I still wouldn't bet a lot of money against them, but it's not. Most years, you're right. You know they're back. You know, after 2010, they lost to South Carolina. They lost the pick-six game to Auburn, the kick-six game. You knew they'd be back. In the next 2 years, they won a national championship, right? Won it in 2009, had a bad year in 10, and then won the next 2 years. You can't make that prediction right now. They're not as good as Georgia. Top to bottom, they're probably a little deeper than LSU. I don't think they're better, though. They don't have a better quarterback yet than LSU. And LSU's young offensive line's better than what they have. And they don't have a Harold Perkins at linebacker like LSU does. And LSU's the defending Western champion. It's not a lot.
Every year, somebody from this conference emerges and has a way better year than any of us ever thought. I know I'm asking this in March, but today, who would you put as the leading candidate for that category?
I don't think they're going to threaten the division as a winner.
Like, let me give you an example, Bill. Like South Carolina last year, right? I mean, nobody saw that. So who's Who's this year's South Carolina, in your opinion?
I would probably pick Auburn. Hugh Freeze is there. Hugh is a brilliant offensive mind. He has two quarterbacks, Robbie Ashford and T.J. Finley, who I don't think he likes. I think Robbie Ashford is ideal for his offense. Don't know that he's sold on it yet. And he's going to – look, guys, when we get – with all these quarterback battles and May 1 through the 15th, a 2-week window for the portal. No telling what kind of quarterbacks. Georgia, one of Georgia's big stars that looks like he's not going to get the job this spring, could be in on that list. There could be a few. Look, I don't think Nick's going to do it because he knows the politics of it. If Ty Simpson thinks he's not getting a job, he and Daddy are gone. And that's a heck of a quarterback. There's going to be a few like that, and I think if you're a Hugh Freeze, you're sitting back keeping your mouth shut just waiting to see what's out there because there could be a very nice bounty of players, quarterbacks, in the first 2 weeks of May.
Bill, I wanted to ask about Arch Manning down in Texas, and there is all kinds of articles out here about a quarterback battle with Quinn Ayers down there, or however you pronounce it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful of the young man. But Bill, is this a true battle, or is this all just for show?
Well, I think two things. Quinn Ewers has a lot of ability. Had a so-so year. Didn't have a bad year. Didn't have as good a year as he needed to either. But he wasn't a flop. And he's a former number 1 ranked player in America. Mm-hmm. He's got that kind of talent. He's not overrated like some other quarterbacks that we've seen in the past. But he's got to put it together. And here's what they're going to do. They're going to call it a battle. And you know what? I mean, technically it is. They're not going to start Arch Manning immediately. You can't do that. If he goes out there and fails, you've done him a big disservice. You got to let Ewers lose the job. And you don't let him lose the job in spring when those aren't real bullets, right? I mean, it's good to practice, but that's not the same thing. You let him go out there and either be the 5-star that he should be or eventually yield it to Arch Manning. And that's the way Sark will handle this. You cannot switch them until you get into real game play and everybody on the planet can see it.
All right, Bill. Time to go to my favorite topic with you as of late, and that is to the TV media market, college football world, where you and I and our lives intersect here at an interesting spot. So, reading this article from Sports Illustrated, they have let it be known that originally the Big Ten did not want UCLA. They wanted USC and Oregon. However, Fox got involved and decided we'd rather close off the LA market entirely by being able to get UCLA. And if we're going to get anybody, we're going to get UCLA and USC and put a wall up around Los Angeles to make sure no one else can get in to this market number 2, TV money. Your thoughts, sir?
True. The gold standard of Southern Cal. All right. The gold standard of Southern Cal. All right. I don't care if this gets me in trouble. You go to a bar and there's a incredibly attractive girl right there.
Uh-oh.
But next to her, guys, is her friend. Right? That's UCLA. I don't need to go any further.
Okay.
And but the really attractive girl says, I'm not going anywhere unless she's coming.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on here. And UCLA is attractive. They're in L.A., but that's not – Southern Cal brand is immeasurably more mighty than UCLA. And we'll see what happens. Right now, the Pac-12 is just hoping to get a TV deal done. ESPN is not in any rush because they're lowballing him. Apple TV is not in any rush. And look, the Big Ten's trying to find a commissioner, which really doesn't matter because they have media deals in place, and it starts this year. It's going to be interesting, but here's what I think will happen. I think the Pac-12 will get a deal that for them is decent. It won't be comparable to the Big Ten or the SEC. Let's say they get a deal that's $25 or $30 million, which is not enough, but it's better than the alternative where we're imploding as a league. And they'll hang on for a few years. It won't hang on long-term. Oregon, Washington, some of them will be gone. Maybe They go after the four corners, which they call Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah to the Big 12. Eventually, that could happen. I think they squeeze together a deal this time. It may get a little harrowing, but I do think they do.
Bill, why would the Big Ten want Oregon over UCLA?
It's a better brand. I mean, it's certainly. I mean, you're not doing it because you want Eugene, Oregon. You know, we need Eugene, Oregon.
No, you don't. No.
Correct, and that's what Fox is. That's what they want, and obviously they're writing the check, so they get what they want. But no, it's a better brand. I mean, Oregon is a mighty brand, and when they're right, I mean, they're nasty. They're athletic. Their offense is always incredibly fun to watch. From time to time, they'll have a good defense. That's not what they're known for. It's just a much better brand.
So what you're saying?
Well, and you got Phil Knight now part of your league. That helps too, right?
Well, that doesn't hurt. You know what? I hadn't factored that in, Bill, and that is correct. But what I'm hearing is, more than anything else, Oregon football is more valuable than UCLA basketball, which is an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, and my basketball buddies, and I got a lot of them, coaches, don't like me when I say this, but guys, basketball's got as much say-so in expansion as you and I do, okay? None. Basketball is in the back of the wagon, lucky to have a ride, okay? No different. Basketball's got as much say as the volleyball team. Expansion is about football and TV revenue, and they are married. Period. You don't take UCLA because they might make our league cuter, right? That's not a thing. You don't even have that discussion.
Last thing, real quick, Bill, because it's kind of becoming a little bit of it is a hot topic out there, but it maybe, who knows, it could be a hot topic in this market. Just not sure. I don't know how much you follow the NFL or not. But you follow college football. You obviously watched him in college. Mm-hmm. He's been gone for a while. But just your thoughts. What do you think of Lamar Jackson as a quarterback in the NFL?
Much better than I thought.
Okay.
I know he's not as one-dimensional as he gets labeled, but he is more one-dimensional than he's not. Is that? I mean, I hope that all makes sense.
It does. It makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just have never been a proponent of you can be such a spectacular athlete, which he is. Guys, I remember in camps in high school, they put him in the receiver line. They didn't even believe in him then, some of these places. Now, Louisville obviously did, but a lot of the big boys didn't at all. And anyways, he's proven his point there, obviously. I just have never thought that you could be such a spectacular athlete that you could last doing what his skill set does, but he does it, man. He does it, and now there's a label on him that he's not a guy that's going to be in the film room at 2 a.m. Okay, but he does produce, and does he have some prima donna about him? Now, guys, you would know that better than me. I don't keep up that much, but I've been a big fan. And I'll tell you another thing. Brad Powers, who is on my show every Friday, the last hour to talk gambling, had a Lamar Jackson 100-1 Heisman ticket that cashed. So there's another little bit of data for you. He got that one in March or April at 100-1 and hit.
Jeez.
How about that?
Nice. That's a story I'd tell the rest of my life.
I don't have a story like that.
Yeah.
If I had a story like that, I'd already told you about it.
Yeah, and you keep telling it. That's
right.
what I. So we can look forward to that, 8 o'clock hour on Friday with Brad?
Yeah, he's been with us 10, 12, 15 years, somewhere in there. He's fantastic. Yep.
All right, good stuff. Bill, really appreciate it. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, guys.
Bill King, tomorrow morning starting at 6 o'clock, and as you just heard, Brad Powers during the 8 o'clock hour on Friday. Or we'll come back and get back into that Lamar Jackson stuff, because I know you wanted to weigh in.
Oh, I did, yeah.
A little bit more on Doug's call as well. So we'll do that on the other side as you listen to the McFarland Show, WNSR.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Gear up for golf at Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville during their March golf sale. Swing in and stock up on their huge selection of new and gently used golf gear and equipment. During their month-long March golf sale, you save 10% on all gently used golf clubs. They have the trained staff to help you find the perfect set of golf clubs, a golf bag, golf balls, or a travel golf carry bag for the upcoming season. And they will also buy the golf gear you're no longer using. That's right, every day, all day, you can get cash on the spot for your underused golf gear. They also buy baseball, lacrosse, football, soccer, disc golf, plate weight, hockey gear, and the treadmill that is transformed into a clothes hanger. If you have gear you no longer use or doesn't fit, trade it in for either cash or for store credit towards your next purchase. And you can trust me, not only am I a spokesperson, but I'm a customer. You can always find me in the golf section over at the Hendersonville store. Check out Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville. Tell them your friend Zach over here at Nashville Sports Radio sent you. That's Play It Again Sports in Brentwood and Hendersonville.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
I'm here at the Big Game headquarters. Total Wine and More, scoring huge savings on the perfect bourbon. Local craft beer.
Forgetting something?
Oh yeah, Cabernet, seltzers, and so many low prices.
Valentine's Day is right after.
Whoa, new game plan.
You got this. Total Wine can help you score the perfect bubbly, too.
Thank you, I would have been so...
You sure would have.
Your Big Game headquarters. Love what you find, always at the lowest price. Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Milk, eggs, $42. Ma'am, you okay?
Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in now for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes. That's up to $3,500 today. Don't let high prices get you down. When every dollar matters, it matters who does your taxes. So get to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Grizz Nation. Make some big Memphis noise and don't miss Jaron, Desmond, and your Grizzlies Friday at 7 as they battle the Rockets for Grizzlies Scholars Night, presented by Ford and your Mid-South Ford dealers. Get hyped, get ready for a star-studded show, and secure your tickets by calling 901-888-HOOP or online at Grizzlies.com. From Middle Tennessee's home for the Memphis Grizzlies, Nashville Sports Radio.
Hey, join me, Darren McFarland, and Matt Rigsby, who is the Siegel boys basketball coach at Siegel High School, Monday nights from 6 until 7 o'clock. The show is called Youth Connect. From coaches to players to trainers and everything in between, we discuss what it takes to be a high-level athlete here in Middle Tennessee, to be a high-level coach, to be a high-level trainer, like I said, and everything in between. We'll also discuss the travel ball scene. We'll discuss it all. It's Youth Connect right here, Monday nights starting at 6 o'clock on WNSR.
You're listening live from the Strike and Spare Studios, downtown Music City. It's the McFarland Show.
You know, you just heard that promo for Youth Connect, the
Yes.
show I'm doing with Coach Matt Rigsby, Siegel Boys Basketball. We're having a lot of fun. We've done 2 shows on Monday nights during the 6 o'clock hour. We had on Hillsboro's coach.
Yes.
Who just made it to the semifinal, the state tourney.
Mm-hmm.
And J.P. Pagese is the young man from Furman.
Yes.
Who popped the 3 to beat Virginia.
Yeah.
He coached him at Hillsboro.
Very cool.
And it was a great interview. If you want to go back and listen, go to our website and check it out on WNSR.com because it's pretty amazing. Just listen. He was saying this kid had that in his DNA in 9th grade.
Had that knack to him.
9th grade.
Yeah. You just don't know who you're looking at.
He was hitting game winners in 9th grade. That's just a trait that kid has. He goes, he told everybody, if it gets to JP, they're beating Virginia.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Go check that out.
Pretty amazing.
Because, that man.
It was a really, really cool interview. So if you can, go check that out. It'll be worth your time. Look, it's 7-8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really good interview and a cool story on Hillsboro's run, and look, I didn't even know about this, not to get off on a tangent.
Sure.
But they lost their 6'6" guard in a car accident. I think it was either at the beginning of the season or before the season began, and he was paralyzed. Their best player this year. And they used that inspiration to get him to the semifinal of the state title.
Wow.
Of the state tournament.
Wow. Somebody should be making a 30 for 30.
I was like, how cool is that story?
There's a lot of 30 for 30 should-be's out there.
Yeah.
That's a good one there.
So, anyway, yeah, just wanted to pass that along.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
We've been talking a little bit about Lamar Jackson. Of course, he is the quarterback from the Ravens who has been offered a franchise tag, essentially, to play, and now teams can come in and make offers. And to our knowledge, no teams have come in and made offers. And Lamar Jackson is representing himself. I do understand he has another person taking calls
who is not registered with the NFLPA.
With the NFLPA. All right.
Which is a no-no.
Which is a no-no. That's a problem, and you can't be really taken seriously. And then there's other problems that come into play at that point. When you represent yourself, you're supposed to truly represent yourself, which means the teams can do all the negotiations directly with the player. That is what the league rules say.
Apparently his mother, so for people who don't understand this, the league
yes,
and the NFLPA, which is the Players Association, have come together, and they have said for all the teams, only negotiate with people that are registered through the league /NFLPA.
Yeah.
In other words, they have vetted them, and they're good.
Because they don't want their players getting taken advantage of. Right. Like used to happen so many times.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
There's so many. Now, there are 30 for 30s out there about that, for sure.
Yeah. Well,
about
the
guys
broke.
Oh, man. About guys getting left out to dry.
Yes.
Like prize fighters, essentially.
Yeah.
All over the NFL.
Now, his mom, I think, was going to get certified, but evidently did not.
That's the first I've heard of that.
He
I didn't know
does not
anything about
have
that.
anybody certified
No.
through the NFLPA acting on his behalf, and yet someone is acting on his behalf, which is supposed to be a no-no.
Which
and
is a
probably
problem.
isn't helping him at all.
So here's where I'm coming from with Lamar Jackson. And if anybody's surprised about what is happening with Lamar Jackson, I don't know why anyone would be. And this is what I mean when I say that. And Bill King knows more about college football than probably anyone under the sound of my voice, which includes maybe some coaches. I'm just saying, maybe. I'm not saying he knows more. I'm just saying he might know more. I'm not okay. So Bill just said that he remembers Lamar Jackson coming out of high school, and I've looked him up. Lamar Jackson was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, and he was not recruited by the big boys. He got a cup of coffee, he got a look, but he really wasn't highly recruited by the big guys of college football. Now, once we've seen him play, it's pretty obvious that Lamar Jackson was a pretty good college football player. Wouldn't you think? He was, he kind of lit it up. He won the Heisman. He beat some really talented teams, even though they didn't have much on his team but him, and he embarrassed a lot of people. Then he decided to go to the NFL, where most people thought he was going to be a wide receiver. And they told him, you should be a wide receiver. You're not a first-round talent. You're a project quarterback. Well, Ozzie Newsome thought he was more than that, traded up into the first round to get him. They cut Joe Flacco to keep him, and he developed into an MVP quarterback. So now here we go, and we're ready for the second contract. And Lamar Jackson has decided that he's going to, be Lamar Jackson. And when I say that, what I mean is he's going to do it his way. He is not going to let other people tell him what is the right thing to do. In his mind, if I listened to you guys, I wouldn't be in this situation to begin with. You guys all told me that I wasn't good enough to be a quarterback in college football, and I won the Heisman. You guys all told me I wasn't good enough to be a first-round pick in the NFL, and I was. You guys all told me I was a project quarterback, and I'm an MVP. And now you guys are telling me that I need an agent? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll catch you next time. I'll prove you wrong again. Now, that's my guess. That's my read. I've not heard him say that. But if you look at the pattern of what he has done in his whole career, doing things outside the norm is normal for him and always has been. So this maneuver here, even though it looks a little silly and could be costing him a lot of money, is him doing it his way, which is why he is not double back, because he can hire an agent, yesterday. He could find somebody. Just he hadn't done it because he is doubling down on himself like he has always done. Now, is it going to finally blow up in his face this time? It might. It might.
Well, do I think that mentality is warranted? That mentality is warranted with him? Sure. Now, this just in. He's not the first quarterback that had to go down this path that you just laid out. There's been all kinds of athletes in the past that have been told the same thing. Hey, we'd like you to be a receiver. We'd like for you to be a cornerback. And they're like, yeah, no, I'm a quarterback.
Yes.
And they're like, well, okay, well, you're just not going to be for us. And they go off and they go on to bigger and better things.
Sure.
Right? And so teams have been made, or schools have been made to look silly.
Yes.
Right? By trying to box in or tell a player, this is what we see you. And that player says, yeah, no, I'm good. Thanks.
Yes.
And
I would agree.
And so that he's not the first one, and he won't be the last one.
No.
And that scenario will play out for probably the rest of time. So it has served him well, and that's great. And by the way, it's served a lot of other guys well because look, I've always said this. The same thing is in this business or any business. Any of you out there listening to us. I know there's a certain limitation or line how far you should take it. I understand that. And some people don't know where the line is. But if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't bank on yourself, then who will? Okay. And this is a well-documented story. I think I've told this on the air. I think I've told it with him before. I'm pretty sure. I feel comfortable saying this on the air. Vince Ferrara, who joins us every Monday. The dude is maybe the hardest working guy I've ever been around in my life.
Works very hard.
Okay. He works hard.
And works a lot.
He works a lot. Okay. The dude is a grinder.
Yeah.
Has always been a grinder.
He's driving to New York.
Yeah. Those stories are endless, Justin.
Driving to New York for the Tennessee game.
But he used to always, because I used to, we've been friends for a long time. We met at SEC Media Days a long time ago. We had tables next to each other, and that's what started our friendship.
Yeah.
And we remain steadfast friends to this day and closer than ever. But he was always the type like, I don't need to brag about myself. People will just give me credit. And I'm like, I get that mentality, man. I get it. But here's the thing. In this business, it's a dog-eat-dog world, as we know, right?
Yeah.
It is watch your back.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need to pay.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows you paint that picture. And this is not the only forum like that,
No.
okay? But sometimes I said, Vinny, I understand, brother. You just want to do your hard work and people just to recognize that and give the proper credit. And that's fine. People should. But there are plenty of people in the world that will not, okay? And at some point, you do have to pump your own tires. You do, man. Because most people are not standing in line to pump your tires, okay?
That's true.
And it's a sad reality. I hate it.
Yeah.
But it's a sad reality.
Yeah.
So getting back to what we were talking about, that has served him well. And you have to pump your own tires. And on the playing field, Justin, on the playing surface, it has done wonders for him, right? Because he has literally thumbed his nose, done the Italian. Vinny would appreciate this.
Yeah.
Off the chin, as in,
He plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Yes.
He does.
And it works on the playing field. But this is business.
Yeah.
And on the playing field, you can do that. And he should do that. And a lot of others have done it, and they should do that. But this is business. And in my opinion, it's two different worlds. And I understand why he thinks that way, and I know it has served him well, but this is business. And in my opinion, when you have the biggest contract of your life on the line, you'll never see this contract again. You need to have, because it's business, someone that lives in that world.
Yeah.
That is what they do. The same way you got to where you are is the same way they got to where they are, right?
Yes.
Because, oh, by the way, you want to talk about dog-eat-dog world? That business?
Man,
Jeez.
what?
Are you kidding me? Man, you probably feel like you walk out of the house and you're dodging bullets and spears and knives and whatever else you can think of, every single day.
Well,
So there's a reason they got to where they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree.
So that's where I'm at.
And I hear you. And I do want to bring up one more thing in regards to Lamar Jackson here. And somewhere else that he hurt himself severely. And yes, is he out over his skis a little bit when it comes to this contract thing? It would certainly seem that way. But he hurt himself severely this past year in a big way. And where he hurt himself is he was not playing in key games. And his team managed to make the playoffs anyway. And the guy who replaced him played pretty well. Now, they didn't win the playoff game against the Bengals. And that is where he really messed up. Because let me tell you what may change the minds of some NFL GMs about getting involved with Lamar Jackson, even in his current state, is if he can show you a path to get to Lombardi, people will put up with a lot. This league is competitive.
Of course.
They want to win. If a NFL GM felt like Lamar Jackson can truly, he is the difference maker, take us to the promised land, I really think he would have been signed or somebody be more competitive about him. The problem is he's 1-3 in playoff games, and a way to solve that would have been a few weeks ago when the Bengals took on the Ravens. A good, surefire way to improve your stock if you're coming up to be a free agent is beating Joe Burrow in a playoff game head-to-head. But he didn't play. And he was out of sight, out of mind. And now, when he wants the big money, they have the right to open the books and go, well, what have you done for real? Like, what are you doing? I don't see any AFC championship games. I don't see any, what are you,
right? And
what are you doing?
And it's not the Jets, right?
No.
It's not a doormat franchise. No. The Baltimore Ravens have done a whole lot of winning.
Which is why they're not chasing after him. Yes. Because, again, when we had that conversation a few weeks ago, but for those who missed it.
Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco.
Listen, we got Lombardis in the case without you. So far you've been playing and we don't have any more Lombardis. So if we let you go, what's going to happen? We go not win anymore? We're already doing that. So what are you bringing to us seriously other than your MVP, which, by the way, we've had those too.
Yeah.
we've got MVPs. Have you noticed? We got Hall of Famers in here. So this is nice, but this is not where our standard is. And, he's got to find somewhere that believes in him to that extent, but he hurt himself real bad when he was not available, either rightfully or not. I don't know if he was hurt or not. There's rumors that he wasn't hurt. I don't know. But either he wasn't hurt or he wasn't available for that game against Cincinnati, where he really could have got his stock into the upper echelon, into that level, he wasn't available.
Well, there's a difference. Was he hurt or was he injured?
Don't know. I don't know.
That's the difference.
Either way, he wasn't available,
right?
Which really hurts.
Yeah.
Really hurts.
And stood on the sidelines with a ski mask and sunglasses.
Can't beat Joe Burrow like that. And if you want to get paid like Joe Burrow, if you want to get paid like Patrick Mahomes, if you want to you got to go out and beat them or find you a Cleveland Browns franchise, one or the other.
Right. Yep.
Find you somebody desperate enough to give you $500 million.
Yep.
Because not everybody's going to do that either.
That's right. So when we come back, it just won't go away.
What won't?
The Titans still are on they're still getting linked to him. If you believe it's gone too far and he's not going back to Baltimore, well, he's going to land somewhere. And the odds makers and people out there throwing stuff out there, is it like, hey, dark horse? Like, no, but they keep saying like the Titans keep getting brought up.
All right, then.
So we'll come back and
go to commercial. Come on back. That's fine.
What do you think?
We'll address it.
Do you think there's any chance at all?
Just come on.
We'll do that on the other side. You listen to the McFarland Show, Nashville Sports Radio.
Breaking news.
Tax refund shock is everywhere, but what is it?
My tax refund shrank.
Mine too. The culprit? Pandemic-related stimulus payments and tax credits expiring. In this reporter's opinion, you need a tax expert.
Hey guys, Jackson Hewitt guarantees your biggest refund.
And tax prep is 50% off? Going there now.
50% off is a limited-time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Welcome to Smashville. Join us at Bridgestone Arena for 3 of the best remaining games of the season with the new Nashville Predators Captain's Pack, presented by Jockey. Purchase your 3-game Captain's Pack today at NashvillePredators.com/Captain's Pack to receive 25% off at Jockey.com. $10 in Nash cash for each game, a limited edition digital player card, the opportunity for 2023 Stanley Cup Playoff single game presale, and more. That's NashvillePredators.com/Captain's Pack. Let's go, Preds.
At Total Wine & More, save big on what you love this month with hundreds of deals. Get up to 35% off over 100 different wines and spirits, including Cabernet, sparkling wine, single barrel bourbon, and so much more. These savings are huge, and even better, they're on top of prices that are already the lowest in town. Deals this good don't last long, so visit Total Wine & More to find yours. Love what you find at the lowest price, only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a professional realtor in Nashville for more than 40 years, Richard Courtney is one of the city's top-ranked real estate brokers. He's also the author of 2 books and the real estate columnist for the Nashville Ledger. What does all of this mean to you as a home buyer or seller? Expert knowledge, guidance, and trust. Give Richard Courtney a call today at 615-300-8189. That's 615-300-8189. Or online at richardcourtney.com. The Jim Rome Show.
Man, I love Facebook. That's not in any way a time suck. It is such a valuable use of your time. Going on everybody else's page and posting how beautiful they look when they don't. They don't. You know they don't. Come on. Anyway, do what you want with your time. I don't want you to tell me how to spend my time. I won't tell you how to spend your time, but I will tell you this. Stop cropping out pictures and including yourself. And then acting like, hey, my hair looked great that day. My makeup was perfect that day. Just do what I tell you. With regards to this, you'll be fine.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on Nashville Sports Radio. The McFarland Show, streaming live from inside the Strike and Spare studios. Here's Darren and Justin.
Austin Hooper has signed with the Raiders, so he's going to Vegas.
Good for him.
Elijah Moore has been shipped out of New York from the Jets to the Browns. So the Browns give up their first-round pick for Deshaun Watson, and now they've given up their second-round pick for Elijah Moore. So the Browns in the draft this year, which is about, a little bit over a month away.
Yeah.
It's in Kansas City. They do not have a first or a second-round pick.
You woke up this morning in your condo in Manhattan, and at the end of the day, you're looking for real estate in Northeast Ohio. Life in the NFL.
Yep. So I brought up this Lamar Jackson and the Titans thing that just will not go away.
Okay.
Devlin, you did a little research during the break, and what did you find?
According to @Bookies, the current odds for Lamar Jackson's next NFL team, currently sitting Ravens number 1 at plus 225, 30% chance. Titans sitting at number 2 at plus 400 with a 20% chance. Patriots plus 500, 16% chance. And then the next few are the Vikings, Colts, Jets, Falcons, and then the field.
So the Ravens are a plus. They're not a minus.
They are a plus, according to bookies.
So that's not a huge gap between the Ravens and the Titans. If they were if they were minus 225, and the Titans were plus 400, that's a big gap.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
So what do you think of that notion? Do you think that has any chance at all? Do you think that that's really being discussed behind the scenes? Do you think that's really possibly in the cards for them?
Have the Titans had a conversation about Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
I don't know how they could not have had a conversation about it.
Okay.
But as you know, Darren, people have conversations about lots of things.
But what do you think? How do you think that conversation went? Yes, agreed.
I think they looked at what they would need to do in order to make it happen for real, and then decided whether or not it was just too much for them as far as the lift is concerned. The deal with Lamar Jackson, for me, is not about whether or not he's talented. You have a football team here that needs a lot of help at key spots. You're going to trade away your first-round picks for the next 2 years for Lamar Jackson? For what? And this is what I'm saying when I say that is, and this is the truth anyhow. I know it's messed up, but has Lamar Jackson been somewhere that Ryan Tannehill is not? Has Lamar Jackson done some things that maybe Ryan Tannehill, accomplishments I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, he's won the MVP, and that looked great.
Regular season
MVP, and he looked fantastic. But has Lamar Jackson done the big things that did I miss it somewhere with Lamar Jackson? Okay, so you're telling me by bringing Lamar Jackson in here that this is going to bring the team where? So Lamar Jackson's going to beat Patrick Mahomes in January up there at Arrowhead? I mean, listen, can he give you a better chance than Ryan Tannehill does? I can make that argument.
Well, the counter to that is, well, he's 26. Ryan's going to be, what, 33, 34?
Okay.
This upcoming season?
But he's 20,
much younger.
He's 20, and so what?
He's in the prime of his career.
But prime of doing what?
Well, yeah, I mean, you would have to think that
he's in the prime of...
He's going to get better in that department when it comes to January football, yes.
Well, you hope. Because, listen, and we've seen this movie before. Lamar Jackson can run, okay? He's an athletic guy. But if he loses a step, what happens to him? Is he a pocket quarterback all of a sudden? And what's going to happen is he moves into, because if you sign Lamar Jackson, you are making the commitment for Lamar Jackson into his late 20s now, okay?
Every bit of that.
Okay?
Into his early 30s.
Into his late 20s, early 30s, okay? So if you think you're going to see the guy you saw at Louisville, then I got oceanfront property for you in Oklahoma, okay? Because I don't think that guy's coming. Now, I know we've seen him flash, but those guys tend to, anybody over 30, anybody over 40, what happens to you sometimes when you just get up in the morning, get out of bed, your knee hurts for no reason, and you're not even playing NFL football. You're just stretching, okay? And you hurt something. That's just genetics. That's just father time. Okay, so he's already had some injuries. So now we're bringing this guy into this situation here. You're trading 2 first-round picks. And by the way,
paying him.
How is this working with the math?
Yeah.
Can you guys, that to me, and there's this whole movement on social media right now talking about the salary cap is a myth. Okay. Well, you can ask the Rams how much of a myth it is, okay? Because, they can't keep everybody. It's not a myth. It's a real thing, or else guys wouldn't be losing guys. The Kansas City Chiefs wouldn't be trading Tyreek Hill because they felt like it.
Yeah.
No, they would hold on to that guy.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying about him and his success or lack of in January, but let's also not act like this league throws you out with the bathwater when you're not getting it done. Justin Herbert hasn't done a damn thing
I know.
in the playoffs. And this just in, the Chargers aren't throwing him out with the bathwater. Like right now, they're still like all in on Justin Herbert.
The Chargers drafted him, so they got him, and they're going to try to build around him and do the thing.
Nothing.
Gotcha.
He's done nothing. Hasn't even won a playoff game.
No.
He's only been to one playoff game.
Yeah.
And he lost to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So he's done nothing and yet everybody holds him up to this big high standard too.
I don't know why.
But they're not going to get rid of him.
He's got arm talent, and so he's good, and I guess. I mean, sure. But, if you're looking for guys.
Who would you take, Herbert or Jackson?
Boy, that's tough.
That's why I asked.
That's really, to me, that's really tough. Jackson, probably.
Interesting.
And it's tough for me. It's tough.
The reason I say interesting is because you just said when the legs go, then what? Well, you don't have to worry about that with Herbert.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't have legs to begin with.
Well, but he's right. so you're just relying on his arm.
So he's just relying on his arm talent. So he's sort of a one-trick pony. What you're hoping Lamar Jackson can turn into is what we've seen out of Russell Wilson, not last year, and the previous years before that in Seattle. You're hoping that he will turn into a guy that can throw the football and then use his legs as needed, not just, as an actual part of the playbook. You don't want to call plays just for him to go out there and do that. You don't want to just call, this is going to be a Lamar special where he just goes out there and makes something happen. You don't want to call any more of those. You want plays to happen. You want things to break down. Then you want him to make some magic happen as needed. That's what Russell Wilson was doing in Seattle. He wasn't going out there just to do it. He was going out there as needed. So you're hoping he could turn into that. But we don't know that. We don't know what Lamar Jackson is as strictly a passer. He has not shown that to us. And again, when he's had opportunities to be out there, because if he's got a hurt knee, unless he can't walk, he could have gone out there and thrown the ball a little bit from the pocket, but he wasn't out there.
Yeah. We'll come back, wrap up Wednesday's McFarland Show next.
With 13 locations nationally, including Smyrna, Star Leasing Company is a semi-trailer one-stop shop and the perfect place to build a career as a semi-trailer mechanic. Seeking candidates with all levels of experience, Star Leasing Company has a semi-trailer technician trainee program with sign-on and quarterly bonuses and other opportunities such as $1,000 for having a yearly physical. Package also includes 401k with company match, health, dental, and vision insurance, competitive pay with weekly paychecks, and paid holidays and time off. Star Leasing Company, not your typical semi-trailer leasing company. Visit starleasing.com to learn more.
Hey folks, Eric Clark, production director for Nashville Sports Radio. Today, Kitchen Notes executive chef John Welch is hopping on to tell us more about Easter brunch at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Chef John, seriously, just tell us about the smoked prime rib.
It's one of our favorites. We actually feature it on our regular menu. We dice it up and make something similar to a corned beef hash with it.
Smoked prime rib on Easter means you need to prepare. That takes some time, right?
Most definitely. With the prime ribs, we don't want to smoke them all the way. We do it for about 2 hours just to get some of that flavor profile, and we finish them in the oven.
Chef John, tell folks how to reserve their place at the Kitchen Notes table.
Yeah, they can make reservations with Open Table. I definitely suggest making reservations as soon as possible. We're hoping folks are going to come out and build a tradition with us and start making some memories here at Kitchen Notes.
Executive Chef John Welch from Kitchen Notes. Aside from a doggy bag, what can people take away from the Easter brunch at Kitchen Notes?
We're Grandma's Kitchen. We're just trying to take some of Grandma's classic comfort food and put a modern twist on it.
Easter brunch at Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
Today on Hey Culligan, reverse to reduce. Here's Bob.
Hey Culligan, I love fresh water, but I got plastic bottles coming out.
Whoa, Bob, you are not kidding about the bottles. But did you know Culligan's reverse osmosis and always-on drinking water systems provide fresh, clean, delicious drinking water and help reduce the equivalent of over 15 billion plastic bottles from landfills worldwide?
Holy fresh, environmentally friendly drinking water. Am I right?
Right, Bob. And we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Hey Nashville, start your day the right way with Bongo Java Cafe, located in the lobby of the Omni Nashville Hotel. Bongo Java is Nashville's oldest local coffee company. Get your day started with a freshly baked muffin and wash it down with a hot cup of dark roast or hair of the dog blend. With free Wi-Fi, you can get some work done while enjoying a toasted breakfast sandwich. Beat the traffic. Treat yourself at Bongo Java Cafe, located in the lobby of the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown Music City.
It's a Bill King Show.
Pac-12 football is a joke.
it's a laughing stock. It has been left behind by Father Time a long time ago. It has not been prominent in a decade at least. And do you want to know why? God-forsaken leadership. That's why.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Call the McFarland Show now at 615-844-5600 and join the discussion of ideas.
I feel like the guest on the Predators official podcast is working because the latest episode had Phil Tomasino.
Okay.
He played really well last night. Had the first goal.
Good deal.
Big night for him. The previous podcast was Luke Evangelista.
Okay.
2 goals last night.
Everybody got a goal. I think.
As to say, yeah.
I think Pete and Terry's, didn't they put one in the back of the net last night? I mean, everybody. I thought Nash got out there, even though Nash is probably at home. Everybody got out there. I think Emma Langen got out there and got a goal. I mean, everybody was getting in on it for the Preds.
You saying it was like an episode of an Oprah show?
A little bit. You get a goal, you get a goal, you get a goal. Everybody's getting a goal.
So, nice win for them. Nice bounce back. And those guys, when you look at the points, Evangelista had a 4-point night. Shane had a 3-point night. What was it? Tomasino had a 2-point night, but 7-3 over Buffalo. And now they're coming back home, play Seattle twice, and see if they can keep stacking win. 13 games to go. And we've been fielding calls on this.
Yeah.
And, they're getting a little bit closer.
Yeah.
A little bit closer. What, 4 points? No, they're still 5 points out from that final spot. So 5 points out, but they've got 3 games in hand on Winnipeg. That is the key thing right there.
Yeah.
3 games in hand.
They got to get all 3 of those.
Well,
or 2 of the 3 at the very
depending
least.
on, depending on where,
Yeah.
Because they'll play, Winnipeg will probably be done.
Yeah.
And they'll still be going. So
yeah. Well, 13 games left. So for me, I think, Darren, if they end up with, what is that, 10-3 or 9-4, I think that gets them in maybe. But they got to come out on the plus side of those.
They're at 78 points right now. They need to get to 95 at least.
Oh, 17 points in 13 games?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, 17 of possible 26.
I mean, I got you. But
17 of a possible 26.
Okay.
So, all right. That will do it for us today. Good stuff. Good show. We'll be back at it tomorrow starting at 2 o'clock. We'll have lots to get into, including Tennessee for their big matchup at Madison Square Garden. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow afternoon stretch. It's next.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Em Nguyen. Another hike in interest rates. The Federal Reserve with a 25 basis point increase today. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says it's to tame inflation.
The process of getting inflation back down to 2% has a long way to go and is likely to be bumpy.
2 faculty members at a high school in Denver seriously injured when police say they were shot by a student who is still at large. 2 Trump investigations. In the one in New York investigating hush money payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels, the grand jury is off today. Another witness is expected before a possible indictment. And in the classified documents investigation, ABC News has learned, according to one judge, prosecutors presented compelling preliminary evidence that Trump misled his legal team about possessing classified materials. The CEO of TikTok will offer new security promises when he testifies on Capitol Hill tomorrow. As another storm pounds Southern California, reports of a damaging tornado in Montebello and another in Oxnard causing damage to mobile homes.